So welcome once again to lesson 2. I hope you had a really great week, reading the resources and practicalizing some of the learnings from it. I would like to hear from some of us, how lesson 1 was, and also with respect to lesson 2. You have the materials with you already. How was it? Were you able to practicalize some of the from the materials? Just a comment lesson for today. Who would like to speak? To speak. Papaoluwa. Mercy wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure she has the resources. But can we hear from Yolamide or Papaoluwa?
Okay, I think last week we spoke about choice, like, and the choice you choose, you have every right to choose whatever choice you want, and we also talked about putting them into action. For myself, I think I'm fond of procrastinating something. I just like to say, okay, I'll do this, but I have to put in action. Like one of those things I did this week. Okay, fine. I'm a fashion designer. I used to sew. So I use my baby as an excuse these days from working or doing things. So I had to man up, like whatever it takes. If you are going to disturb me, I'm going to work this week. So thank God I was able
Okay.
to cut, and I'm working on the clothes. Let me just say I'm back to sewing gradually,
Okay.
and I'm trying to stop the habit of procrastination.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Olamide. I mean,
Okay.
no matter how little the steps you're taking are, it will culminate into something big at the end of the day. So well done. And I hope you keep making those decisions that will help you grow as an individual.
Yes.
So hello everyone and welcome to lesson 2. So today's lesson is on growth, and our analogy is the plants or a garden. So our goal today is to know how to be a gardener of your personal growth by planting and growing your values and strengths. So at the end of today's class, I believe that you would understand why it's important for you to take personal ownership of your personal development or growth, and how that you need to grow your personal values as well as your strengths. I like this quote so much, and it's by John C. Maxwell. And it says, the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better is that you grow today. So the only way you can be guaranteed that you will have a better future, you will have a better tomorrow, is if you decide to do better today. So we'll just move on straight to the story of the garden. All right. So, like I said, the analogy for today is the garden or the plants. So, growth can easily be compared to a garden, you know. So, when I say garden, that means I'm referring to growth and your personal development. Or so, gardens don't just happen. For some of you that might have tried points or know a little bit about agriculture and gardening, that for a plant to grow, it requires a lot. The gardener would need to get the right seeds. These seeds will need to be planted in the right kind, right? Sometimes you need to apply manure. From time to time, you will need to weed, so you need to weed the garden, remove any plants that is not necessary from the garden. Sometimes you even need to put up like a
And
scarecrow
mama,
or a trap
yeah, okay,
to
stop.
prevent animals from, to prevent unwanted animals from um, destroying your plants. So your life can be regarded to or can be compared to a garden. Your personal growth can be compared to a garden. And for you to have a beautiful garden, it just doesn't happen. Last year, I tried my hands on growing aloe vera plants, and the truth of the matter is, I've not done justice to that, because I see that from time to time. right? I see some other plant or weeds grow around it, even though I'm not consistent with it, but at least sometimes I try to weed it out. I believe that it would have grown better than it is currently if I'd been more about weeding out the plants, weeding out the rooting out the weeds, and then my daughter too, tries to wet a plant from time to time. So those are acts, that we needed to do for the aloe vera, right? Same thing applies to development. There is need for us to be intentional. So growing a garden requires an intentional commitment to your growth. So it takes a lot of growth. For those of you that are working, you realize that sometimes you're waiting for your employer to send you for trainings. They're waiting for your employer to, recommend you for this exposure, this personal development plan or the other. I mean, it's not the right approach, because at the end of the day, some companies are not so bent on doing such. And if you keep waiting, keep wasting your time. So you to be committed to your personal development. So you are the gardener, and you create the right environment that will help you to nourish of or your potential for growth. So you need to begin to see yourself as the gardener for your growth. So that means that you are the one responsible for your growth. I want you to tell yourself, I am responsible for my growth. So when you say you're responsible for your growth, it doesn't mean that you now begin to yourself. I think I need to put a balance. In as much as you are responsible for your growth, however, God is responsible for the results. He is the one that is responsible for your results. So, however, there is a part that you have to play with respect to your own commitment to grow, with respect to setting yourself up to succeed by creating the right atmosphere. So this atmosphere that is created is what will provide nourishment potential, right? And grow and provide food. So that means that, so say it like this. So God has designed every one of us, right, with certain solutions to our world. He has put the seed for certain innovations, certain ideas, certain solutions, right, for our world. So you are a deposit of great potentials, So, but until the potential which is in seed form in you is nourished, until that happens, you will not see the plants, you will not see the results, the value in you will not come out. So this is why it is important that for each and every one of us, personal commitment to grow. And over time, we will see that all that have been deposited in us will begin to come out. And this, at the end of the day, you will have, you provide yourself with a beautiful garden or a beautiful life that you can be proud of. Right. So growth must be intentional. Growth must be intentional, depending on whatever area of life you intend to grow, right? You must be intentional. For instance, some of you want to be, let's say, a good writer. You want to be a good writer. It won't happen overnight. It takes, it takes a while. It takes a process for you to really actualize, those potentials in you. So you must be intentional about your growth. You must start to, for someone that wants to be like a writer, for instance, you must start to learn about writing. You must start to surround yourself with people who have already succeeded in that thing, right? For someone else, maybe your ambition is that you want to achieve academic excellence, for instance, for someone in school. For you to achieve that academic excellence, it won't come by just desiring. Even though that's good, that's like the right first step to take. However, there are several other steps you need to take for you to be able to actualize, whatever it is that you are aiming at. And there are two areas that I like to look at it, irrespective of the area that you're looking at growing yourself in. You have to consider your competence and then your character. So competence talks to skill. What skills do I need to hone in order to become better in these aspects of my life? For instance, you have communication skills, you have leadership skills, skills, right? However, so many people tend to skew more towards the skill, then they leave out the character. Character speaks to how well, for instance, have you developed resilience? How determined are you right? Respect to achieving that goal that you have set for yourself, right? How patient, patience is also a character. How, for instance, you might want to decide that in this particular aspect that I've set out to grow in, what are the characters that I would need in order to make me a rounded person? Remember, it's not so much about goals, right? It's also about the right person, right? Becoming, like the popular quote I like to say is that the goal is not the goal, you are the goal. That is the growth is internal, right? It should start from within before it's external. So many people focus on the external, how many likes I have on Instagram, how many followers I have, how many things I'm able to do. It's not so much about all of that. What is most important first is how well you are growing yourself from inside. For someone that is a fashion designer, for instance, what areas do you think, what areas have you set for what goals have you set for yourself that you want to grow in fashion designing, right? How well are you pursuing those goals that you have set for yourself, right? If the first, from our first lesson, we learned that we should make decisions. So in making decisions, it means that you're deciding on what you think is important to you in line with your passion, in line with your purpose, in line with your dreams. And when you make those decisions as to the areas you want to grow in, then you now begin to become very intentional about it. There is this strategy that I used to teach when it comes to goal smashing, and this is based on my experience, based on my observation of other people too that are able to smash their goals. And I call it the pair strategy. Spare means so I formed it into a sentence, which is spare yourself the pressure. So spare, the S in spare basically stands for sell. So it means that so many of us will set out to achieve, different goals. And these goals, sometimes we are not even personally inspired about the goals. So what that means is, for instance, if I want to become, let me say, I want to make 50 million naira in 2021, right? I want to make 50 million naira in 2021. The first question to ask yourself is, how inspired am I to make this 50 million naira? So you must find your why. Why must I make this 50 million naira in 2021? I want to release my book before the end of 2021. Why must I release this book before the end of 2021? How inspired am I, right, to release this book in 2021? So until you are able to connect it with something that is really important to you. Maybe, for instance, the reason could be that releasing that book would help you to probably position yourself as an expert in your industry. Is that a strong motivation for you? So you must look for something that is strong, right, that can motivate you towards achieving your goal. That's where sell comes in. Sell the goal to yourself. For instance, someone in fashion designing again, right? Maybe at the end of the year, you want to release your own fashion line. In setting that goal, why is it important for you to release your own fashion line? It could be that you want to be able to, stand out in your industry. You want to have your own fashion line because you want to create a niche for yourself. So look for all the reasons that will make this goal very important to you. For someone else, family, because you want your children to have to want to leave an inheritance or heritage for your children. That's why you want to probably release your book. But your why must be strong and it must motivate you. That's the S part of it. Then the P stands for plan. The P stands for pray and plan. Right. So many of us we know what we want to achieve, right? We know what we want, the areas we want to grow in, and the dreams. We have many lofty dreams and the things we want to achieve. However, we don't know how to achieve those things. That's where planning comes in. That's where prayer comes in, right? So planning to know that, okay, from this step A leads to step B leads to step C, step D, and the likes. We must put biro to paper to plan those things that we want to achieve. And then we're moving to, okay, spare. A stands for accountability. This part is very important. And I've seen it work over and over and over again. So you must be accountable to someone or a group of people. Look around you. Do you have friends that you respect that are also growing, are also pursuing their own personal growth? Look out for those people. Let them hold you accountable, right? These people could be your peers. These people could be those that have gone ahead of you that you can They can serve as coaches for you. These people could be your mentors, right? I remember in 2018, I decided that I wanted a change of role. I wanted promotion on my role in my company. And I started a journey towards personal development in my career. And the truth of the matter is, one of the first things I did was to look for a mentor. In looking for a mentor, it meant that I looked within the industry and I identified the particular area of interest that I have. And then I looked for someone in that um, field whom I know was doing quite well. Right after then, I spoke with him. I opened up to him that this is who I am. This is my interest in this career path, and I want you to unfold me. And I would at every month or sometimes twice a month, I would ensure that I have a session with him. So all of those things he was teaching me actually helped me to hone my skill better. I began to learn from him, right? And at the end of the day, I was also able to get an opportunity to intern in that unit. And through resilience, I was the only person that finished the project I was handed over to. And when the opportunity came up for promotion, I went for the interview and I got it at the end of the day. You could see the process. This process started in 2018. It didn't actualize until 2020, 2 years, right? So that's just me summarizing the process. So same thing goes for you. Whatever area it is that you're looking at growing in, could it be spiritual? Maybe you have some spiritual goals that you have also set for yourself. You have to be intentional about it. Growth just doesn't happen. There is always a process. Recently, a colleague of mine called me and said, Tosin, I know you are good with personal development, career development, and the likes. Can you just guide me on how to go about mine? And when I told her some of the things I did, she was like, wow, when we were busy chasing sales, so these were the things you did. She was blown away at some of the things that I did. So same thing goes for you. You have to be intentional. I know that. For another example is, personally, I know that God has put it in my heart to be a blessing to young ones, to the teenagers, right? And part of being intentional is what we are doing here today. Having this coaching program, right, with you guys is one way of also helping the younger generation. That's an intentional act. So I'm challenging you also to ensure that in whatsoever area it is that you want to grow in, be intentional about your growth. You should not wait for anyone or any company to facilitate your growth. You're responsible for your growth, while God is responsible for the results. I like to say that. So don't just focus on the goal. Remember what I said, the goal is not the goal. You are the goal. Develop character, develop resilience, develop patience, develop contentment in the process of developing yourself. The first question to ask when starting a garden is, what seeds do I need to sow? Just like I start to ask myself, what are the various steps I can take that would help me to transition into this role that I want, right? And one of the things I identified was I needed someone to handhold me. I needed a mentor whom I could have, personal coaching sessions with, right? I also identified that I needed to also go back to school, learn, the art skills, so to speak, in marketing. I knew I needed those things. So the first question to ask yourself is, what seeds do I need to sow? What are the sacrifices that, attaining these set goals or these dreams in my heart? What are the seeds that I need to sow? So in other words, you're saying, what kind of garden do I want? What kind of life do I want? Right? The question is important because the seeds you sow will determine the harvest you will receive, right? So is it a life of influence? I want a life that is poured out, a life of impact, a life that will help other people, and that would also be helpful to my family, because so many times people live double lives, right? They are very good in public, however, in their family life they are poor. However, for me, I want a balanced life. I'm helpful, I'm impacting others, I'm also impactful or helpful to my family. A life that affords me time with my family, a life that affords me time to spend with God, a life of options, not a life that is boxed up in a corner. You understand what I'm saying? A life that gives me options that is rich and fulfilling. That is what I want. The next question is, what seeds do I need to sow to get this kind of life that I desire? So you must ask yourself as well, You must ask yourself as well. That's why staying in a small space, some people are like big fish in a small ocean. Don't be that kind of person. Be that kind of person that you're a big fish in a big ocean, right? So always strive for more. Always strive to become all that God wants you to be. So this is actually what will determine your habits. If you set a small goal for yourself, you're already putting a limit on how far you can achieve. So be it in your job, right? You're asking. So there is this principle of starting with the end in mind. In my job, what do I really want to achieve in my career? What is like the pinnacle of success for me when it comes to career? Right? How many people do I want to impact? What kind of leadership do I want? How do I want people to perceive me? Do I want to be the director or dictator kind of leader? Or I want to be that kind of leader that will be able to inspire other people towards achieving their set goal? That kind of leader that is able to persuade other people to do things for themselves and for the organization. Right? So you need to determine that, right? And then the kind of character that would also be required of you to cultivate in order to be an wholesome person. It could be in class. Some people, they say in university, it's a common saying that when you go through school, school must also pass through you. So it's a two-way thing. You go through school, school too should also go through you. So it's not just about your academics. In school, you're also thinking to yourself, what else can I pick up? What skills can I learn as a student? Do I want to be a public speaker? Should I join Toastmasters in school? Should I join what are they called again? Let me just keep my mind. There are a lot of groups that you can join in school that will help you to own other skills apart from what you're primarily there for, which is your academics. So it's no longer news that education will make you smart, right? However, you need some soft skills to make you successful. You need soft skills that will make you successful. Education, they will teach you, for instance, you learn the ABC, but nobody will teach you how to put your words together to make sense, how to curate, stories, how to curate words appropriately. This is a journey that you have to embark on personally, right? So it's very important for us to start with the end in mind, understanding where as what pinnacle represents for you in whatsoever aspect of your life, and they will begin to work towards it. So always remember, values will give you growth on the inside. Before you can be great externally, you have to grow internally. That's the equation. If you grow externally and you don't grow internally, the scripture says that your faith is small, right? So that's why it has to be internal first. And those are the best kinds of growth. The kind of growth that is not exterior, right? Is internal. You would be fulfilled. It's not every time you have to launch something. It's not every time everybody has to see what you're doing. Sometimes you're in a quiet phase or a silent phase of your life, and that's when you are growing roots downwards. In those times when you are growing internally, and that's what personal development is about. Personal development talks to you dedicating time to learn, dedicating time to grow, cultivating the right environment for your growth. And with time, naturally, you just that people will gravitate towards you. Naturally, you will be a person of influence. Naturally, even money will gravitate towards you because you are providing value to other people. You won't be wanting of ideas because you're exposing yourself to the right the right environment, right? So you should also always remember that you can outgrow your yesterdays and grow into your tomorrows. Yes, you want to grow through life and not just go through life. So day by day, that should be your mantra. I want to grow every day. It's better for you to do something daily, right? A good habit, cultivate it daily, even if it's 10-20 minutes of your time, and for you to wait till a particular time when you now dedicate hours to that particular habit. For instance, some of you that want to read more books, how about starting to read 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, right? And at the end of the day, you realize that you'll be able to increase it. Sometimes you see that you're even able to go 1 hour, 2 hours, instead of waiting till maybe when you're on leave, where you will have all of the time to read. You realize that when that time comes, you won't be able to do that. I learned that during the lockdown. Before lockdown, the excuse was, I need time, I need time. And lockdown came and we had all the time in the world, right? And yet many people could still not do the things they wanted to do. That's to tell you how that so many times saying I don't have time is an excuse. It's not a genuine reason. It's just an excuse. Many people can relate with it. I mean, during lockdown, I saw that myself. When I realized it, I had to be more intentional. I realized that, before lockdown, I was just craving for more time. I really need more time to, to do some of the courses I wanted to do, to write some of the exams I wanted. And then lockdown came, the attention became looking at the TV to see how many new cases, just whiling away time literally until I woke up to say, get up. This is an opportunity for growth. So lockdown actually provided an opportunity for growth. You had more time, to dedicate to various aspects of your life. And that was exactly the experience. So guys, always remember that you need to grow through life and not just go through life. The road to success is knowing your strengths and developing them. Growth sets you apart from others. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So, what are your strengths? That's the question. If I ask you what your weaknesses are, peradventure many of you will be able to easily tell me what your weaknesses are. However, what you should focus on is your strength. It might be one strength you realized, just one strength. Focus on that strength. Focus. When I say focus, what I mean is begin to cultivate that strength. Begin to put all your energies into growing in that strength. For me, for instance, I know that when it comes to organization, anything administrative, I don't find it difficult. When it comes to execution, I'm good with execution. Once I am clear that this is what I'm supposed to do and this is what I want to do, right? Once that clarity is there for me, I'm able to easily execute. So that's my strength. So that's why even on my role, it's very glaring. People can say that I'm like I've gotten a lot of feedback around how fast the team is moving because of the strength that I bring to the table. It doesn't, there are some other areas I know I am weak in. So I will not focus my energy in trying to hone my weakness. No, I can improve in my weakness because some of these weaknesses are things that actually, right? I can improve in my weakness. However, in terms of honing, in terms of where my major focus is, I focus on my strengths. So whatever it is that is not your strength, you can outsource it. You can outsource it. However, your major focus should be on your strength. So what are your strengths? You need to understand what your strengths are. Some of you are waiting for how will I put it now? Some of you cannot even articulate what your strengths are. They are waiting for you to how will I put it, to be the best before you're able to come out to say this is your strength. It depends on you. It depends on how much time you are able to dedicate to honing your strengths, right? So that is very important. Growth thrives in the right. Can't give you that. Sorry, 1 minute. Can't give you that. That will give you information. Growth thrives in right environments. Growth thrives in the right environment. I mean, this is very, very true. This is very, very true. For you to grow, you must surround yourself with the right people. You must surround yourself with the right people. If your friends are saying, it's not important for you to join, for instance, I lead values-based leadership program, for instance, it means that your motivation to join will be very low. However, if the people that you're surrounded with are people that find it very helpful, to join a program like this, it will be very easy to make that decision, right? So at the point that I wanted to change my mindset with respect to writing a book. I wanted to just change my mindset because I was giving the excuse of there is no need. Am I ready? I need to learn more. I need so much more, so much knowledge before I can write a book and all of that. And one of the decisions I made was to start looking for those who have written a book before or those who are like coaches in that respect. And then I began to follow them on Instagram. I remember subscribing to one of the a coaching program on writing a book. And the truth of the matter is, later when I now asked myself, I just did an analysis to see, so what do I think about writing a book now? And I realized that there is really no big deal. I mean, initially the excuse was, am I ready? There is no need for it. But over time, just by following the right people who are already in that space that I was aspiring to, my mindset changed. So same thing applies to you. Whatsoever your goal is, whatsoever your personal developmental plan is, look for people in that space who are already doing well. Surround yourself with the right kinds of friends. Don't underestimate yourself, right? Don't underestimate yourself. You realize that you will be able to easily accomplish your goals or your personal developmental plan. Remember the saying that the 7 closest people to you, you are a summary of the 7 closest people to you. So that's why you have to stay about creating the right environment. Please mute your mic. About creating the right environment. So we started at 4:10. Okay, so I should be rounding up now. 5 essential factors for a growth environment. A growth environment is a place where others are ahead of you. So please mute your mic. So in a growth environment, okay. So in a growth environment, others are ahead of you, so you can see what you can become. Exactly. Remember the story I told you about my former place of work? And I was comfortable. I was working in the top retail chain pharmacies in Nigeria. So I was good. However, I knew that I wanted more. I wanted a bigger environment where I'll be motivated to do more, right? So others must be ahead of you in a growth environment. If you are the chief, you are the most knowledgeable, you are the one that has all the answers in your office or your current environment, it means you need to change your environment. It means that you need to go out and look for more people that are ahead of you that can encourage you to be more. Because remember, your environment will affect who you are. Another characteristic of a growth environment is that others encourage you to bring out the best in you. They nurture you to bring out the best in you. And then you are out of your comfort zone. That is where growth starts. There is stretch in a good environment. When you begin to find it uncomfortable, right, to do certain things, it means that you're in a growth environment. It means that you have transitioned into a growth environment. And in a growth environment, failure is not it's not the bus stop, it's not the end of the road. Failure, however, you see it as a learning occurrence or a learning experience. And in a growth environment, others are growing, and then the more the merrier. It means that you are pulling your friends along with you. You are pulling others with you to grow. You have other people that can join you in the journey. That's you fostering a growth environment. There is collaboration. Just like today, we have who are collaborating with me in bringing this value to you. That is how a growth environment is. We are encouraging one another. We are pulling one another up. And it requires time and effort. Don't think that if you start a growth journey today, then by tomorrow you'll be a better person. No. So being a better person is a journey. Remember my story? It took me 2 years and I'm even still growing at the moment. So it always requires time and effort. Don't think by staying back and just folding your hands, you would become a better person. No, it requires a level of dedication, commitment, and effort from you. Trees never grow daily. I've already talked about that. So this is a growth checklist that you'll find helpful. The first is first develop a growth mindset. Mindset doesn't see challenges as growth mindset sees challenges as an opportunity to grow, sees challenges as as an opportunity. If there's a situation where you feel you cannot, in a growth mindset, you don't think you cannot. You just know that it's only a matter of time before I'm able to do certain things well, right? That's one of the characteristics of a growth mindset. Number two, intentionally improve on your areas of strength. I already mentioned that. Then you must think canine, meaning continuous and never-ending improvement. This is a characteristic of someone with a growth mindset. Number four, watch your internal conversations. This is very important. Many of us, we have set certain goals for ourselves, and then internally we are pulling ourselves and we are criticizing ourselves, right? That is not best. That is not the best. So in that situation where your inner critic is really loud, what you need to do is to confess the word of God, confess what you want to see, and you would begin to silence your inner critic, right? So ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Am I thinking incompetence? Am I thinking I cannot do it? When you think you cannot do it, you will not be able to do it. However, think possibilities, think positively, think the word of God, know that you can do those things, right, that you have set for yourself or you want to achieve. Number four, that's number four. Then number five is that you should, where's number five? I'm not saying it here. Develop a healthy relationship with failure. We already talked about that. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be patient with yourself and your journey. Your goals, your dreams, and your vision must better others. It must not be all about yourself. You must be intentional about adding values to others. And lastly, what are the benefits of growth? Number one, you will unlock and achieve your potential. I already said that everybody is a package of potential. There's so, when I look at Opeoluwa, for instance, I see so much potential in her, right? So a potential is like a seed of greatness until you begin to nurture it, right? Mercy, until you begin to nurture all those potentials. For instance, when people are multi-talented, you can be a dancer, you can be a singer, you can be a fashion designer, you can be a business mogul, you can thrive in these things are potential. So for you to unlock and achieve your potential, you must be committed to personal growth. Number two, another benefit of growth is that your values and strengths will become stronger. You become a better person. Number three, you will grow in humility and self-awareness. You will know yourself. I'm also on a journey in terms of self-awareness, and many of us have, right? So when you are growing continuously, you know yourself better. What are the things I like? What are the things that trigger my emotions? What are the things that make me tick? You know, all of these things, you become more aware because you are growing. Number four, you become more so you can do more. So the sequence is be more so you can do more, not do more so you can become more. You become first before you are doing. That's why we are human beings and not human doings. We are human beings. So you become, when you become that person that is able to stay consistently to his or her goals, you have set that goal to probably cut 10 clothes in a week, and you are able to achieve those goals, you realize that you will become better, right? And then you can be able to influence other people better. And lastly, you'll be an example for others to follow. This is how you be a leader. This is how you can attract more people. And then I would like to, which is, if you know me based on where I go, you don't know me at all. My growth game is strong. To reintroduce myself. So this should be our this should be related to us every time. I mean, the person that knew you last year should not meet the same person this year. You should be on a journey to continuous growth. So that brings me to the end. Right now, I will break us into our rooms. While I'm doing that, I would like to hear from you. How was it? I hope this was helpful. I'm not seeing. Was it helpful?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.